Hey, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today, we have one of those, I literally found this in my dead uncle's basement type videos. That's what this gentleman said. Picked up this turntable after his uncle passed away. Went down to the basement and found it. And it is a realistic R-8010. It is, if you've seen a style of turntable like this, it's because this is I believe, a CEC manufactured turntable. And you would see something like this in a Taya brand as well. It's a very common design, especially here in Canada. This is very similar to, like I mentioned, the Tayas, and the way the turntable is suspended and the way it's designed is very reminiscent of a CEC design. The reason I'm not very confident in saying that anymore is that I've repaired several turntables now where I thought they were CEC and they may have been Micro Seiki. So it seems like both of those companies were manufacturing quite a bit of product for the Japanese manufacturers back in the day, or in this case for Tandy/Radio Shack. Now, this turntable I know does not have a belt, and unfortunately there has been some belt death on it. I'll just take off the lid here. And this thing's pristine, other than the lid being a little bit full of dust. Like, what's underneath here is very clean, almost surprisingly clean. As you can see, we had a belt die, and this is the real unfortunate part. This is not a big problem when it dies around the plinth here, but it's gone and wrapped itself right around the motor pulley, and that is going to be an absolute nightmare to remove. The problem is, it's not even so much that it's hard to remove, it's that it turns into oil. It's really, really gross to work with. I'm almost wondering if I should get a pair of gloves here, just because it is so disgusting. I think that's what I'm going to do first before we even go about, servicing this thing. I had a quick look at it when the gentleman dropped it off. This spindle has almost next to no oil in it. So like I mentioned, this is suspended turntable, which is nice. These are great turntables. They sound really nice. They look really nice. They have a nice wood base, and they will perform just as good as something you could buy today, if not better. So let me go about getting all this belt death off of here. I think what I'm going to do is probably soak a paper towel around this pulley a little bit, impregnated with a little bit of WD-40 just to loosen it. I don't want to spray anything on here yet. And I'm going to get that off. And once that's off, we'll go about doing the service. Just to give you a rough idea, this is a belt drive, obviously, semi-automatic. It's got play cut, queuing. Unfortunately, the anti-skate weight is missing. I asked the gentleman, he goes, yeah, I looked for it, could not find it. That's the main problem that I have with anti-skates that are a weight on a string. Not that it's an inferior system by any means. It's just that they have a bad habit of going missing. But like I mentioned, let me get this crap cleaned off of here, and I shall be back. Hey, welcome back. I managed to get most of that belt off without too much smearing of it. Like, the belt is completely disintegrated. Luckily, it had some of it died on its side, so it was easy to pick off. I'm going to show you, I haven't touched the motor yet. I just pulled off some of the excess stuff. This is what I'm going to do. A little bit of WD-40 on a paper towel. I got the motor on right now, so it's spinning. And we're just going to hold this up against the motor. And the WD-40, it destroys old oils and greases. Does a great job with that stuff. So we're just going to use it to remove as much of this as we can before we go with a Q-tip and some alcohol. You can see how it really takes care of that. Unfortunately, the motor's not crazy torquey. It's got good torque, but not enough for what I really would like to remove this stuff. So yeah, this is a long process, but you'll see it just keeps coming off and coming off. And I'll just show you how the WD-40 cleans off. I don't know if, can you see that area there? I can't. Hang on a second. There's this area here. I'll spray a little bit down here just to show you. It works better if you let it sit for 5 minutes, but just to give you an idea here. It goes to town on stuff like this. It does a great job of removing it. It's just a matter of time, right, and effort to get it done. You can see what it does. Yeah, this is a very unpleasant job, but it's to be expected. If the turntable's been sitting in a basement for probably 50 years or so, then belts are usually left in place, and then they have the bad habit of eventually dropping off the platter onto the plinth and dying there. But as you can see, WD-40 is doing a great job of making it go away. And then I follow up with a little bit of IPA alcohol and clean that all up. But I'm going to continue on with this. I just wanted to show you what I was doing. And the big thing here is that pulley and getting that all cleaned off. I usually do this near the end of the service, and that's clean the platter and sub platter where the belt rides. But because we've had belt death on here, I'm going to do it now. Actually, I'm just going to use an already used paper towel just to remove the majority of the chunkiness here with the WD-40, and then follow up with alcohol. It's very important that no WD-40 remains on the sub platter. That would be bad. Even though WD-40 is not a true lubricant, it does have oils in it that you do not want anywhere near the sub platter here. Okay, I think that's clean enough before we go with the alcohol. And this has been a messy job. I've been doing this for about a half an hour now, especially that motor pulley, but it has turned out very clean. I know it's hard to see from above, but this stuff went everywhere. So we're just going to clean all this off and ensure that the belt path has a clean, non-greasy surface for maximum friction. So I'm going to continue on with the cleaning, then we don't have to do that. Obviously, hopefully I have a belt that fits this thing. I've got two sizes. I've got 305 millimeter and 325. One of those is going to fit this. So anyway, I'll be right back. All right, let's go about servicing the turntable now. We're going to do a full motor service and spindle service. This is what was on there for cartridge. This is aligned right from the factory because this is what probably came with this. It is a realistic branded Shure cartridge. It's an R-8010. I think it's the same as an M75 is what I'm guessing here. Now that's just a guess. I'm not 100% sure. But this thing's been aligned too, and it's got a slight tilt to it. It's definitely tilted inwards at 47 millimeters. We're going to be replacing it with an Audio-Technica AT3600. And I just got a shipment of those in, and I'm going to be replacing that, putting a new cartridge on it altogether. The gentleman wanted a new cartridge, so we're going to do that. Okay, how do we get this out? I don't even remember. I think Yeah, if I remember correctly, you're going to have to release these two screws here. Similar to a lot of dual turntables where the wires are going through strain relief. Okay, yeah, and then there's the ground is just connected right here like that, and then all we do is we push this through. Yes, it's all coming back to me now. Okay, and I believe you have to release a couple locks. 1 and 2, just slide these inwards, and that should free up the table. Could be we have to push that plate through first. Yes, I think you do. So you got to hold on, and you got to get this through, which is difficult to do because there's not a lot of slack here. That should do it. All right, who's holding me up here? There we go. And you might want to untangle the mess of wires. These wires are filthy. Okay, then you can put your nice case aside. Look at the nice shielding plate here on the inside. It's got like a cardboard press board bottom, but it looks like it's made out of plywood. This is really high quality stuff. As they say, they don't make them like this anymore. Or to make something like this these days would cost thousands of dollars. All right. So what do we want to do here first? Let's do the motor. I like to do the motor first. Yeah, that big motor. Seeing that? That's a big honking motor. Hang on one sec. I'm just going to put this board under so we don't damage the tone arm. And then we can get out our motor here, which looks like it might have a little bit. No, it's not a bad. I thought it was a bad suspension, but it's okay. All right, motor service. For you who have seen my videos in the past, you know how I service motors. I take them apart and I lubricate the top and bottom bearings with fresh oil. The screw seems crooked to me. You never really know what you're going to find when you get into something this old that's been sitting forever. But I have to say, this one is ridiculously clean. And there we go. There's our motor. Okay, I'm going to put some marks because I know how much you guys love when I put marks on stuff to remember where things go. One of the things you have to remember is that when you start making videos on YouTube or whatever platform you decide to make videos on, you're going to get an endless amount of critics that are going to question what you do. And that's fine. I mean, if you didn't want critics, you would turn off the comments section. I get a kick out of it sometimes. I don't know if you've seen my video on that JVC amplifier that I did, where I washed the entire board, and that amplifier is actually still in my possession. I haven't had the heart to sell it yet. I like it so much. And one guy said, "You used water," and then he gave me a face palm. And you know, when you answer, like, I don't like to argue with people. I really try to avoid that as much as possible. But I just showed you a video where I completely washed the board, dried it, took all the precautions necessary, and it's working 100%, and you still want to argue that you've done something wrong or it's destroyed. I just find that fascinating. If you don't like it, don't do it. I'm just showing and giving you an option. Is it possible to do this? Absolutely. Am I doing it on video? Yes. Did it work? Yes. Is there a possibility something can go wrong? Of course. But anyway, I digress. Somebody want to tell me where that nut went? Look at that, eh? Went in the foot. Hiding in the foot spring. I was working on a dual turntable last week on an SM100 motor. And there's a little spring that goes under the speed selector. And I barely touched that spring. And it disappeared. I have not been able to find it. Luckily, I have spare parts around, especially for dual turntables, and it's never showed up again. I mean, it has disappeared from the face of the earth. It's just unbelievable how things go missing. Okay, so the motor's been torn apart. This is gonna be really fast and really simple. We are going to use electric motor oil. Not regular 3-in-1. This is specifically for electric motors. Just going to pull off the bottom bearing here. And holy crap, this one's still got some oil in it. Wow. Absolutely amazing. I can actually see that it's still got some lubricant in there. So we're just going to put a couple drops in the bearing here. Good enough. Pop that back. I'm pretty sure this wire, there we go, goes in there like that. Put that back on. Actually, you know what? Let me pull this top bearing off first. Actually, I got to pull the whole rotor out here. I really do not want to take off the pulley here. You can see how much cleaner it is. It's got an oiling hole here, so we're gonna take advantage of that later. We'll worry about the top bearing once we're all done. Actually, this one like this. Where did it? See, this is why I put marks on things. It doesn't matter because there's no wire on this side, but this is why I like putting marks on stuff, because you just don't remember stuff. Yeah, it was like this. Come on, get in there. Okay. There, now we can put our nut back on. And look at that, eh? I'm still getting, there's still a little bit of belt goo around the bottom part, which I couldn't reach before. So I'll put that drop of oil once we get the turntable all turned over again. Okay, red mark, red mark, red mark. Washer, washer, nut. Saying that all right? Okay. And nut. That was probably on the ground. Not putting it back. Okay. The rubber mounts are in good shape, by the way. Okay, center spindle. Don't forget to support your arm. I'm seeing that. Center spindle right there. Okay. Oil has leaked out of the bottom of it. You can see that there. That's probably why it felt so dry from up top. One screw will hold it in. So I'm thinking this one's been lubricated with oil since there's oil on the bottom of it. We're going to find out how much lube is left. It's not bad. You can see a little bit there, but it's definitely seen better days. So we're just going to clean that off with a paper towel, which was soaked in alcohol. Okay, that's good. Excuse my head here. There is a ball bearing. Whether it'll come out or not is questionable. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do not. So we'll just continue cleaning that with some IPA and a Q-tip. And get all the remaining lubricant out of there. So this is a 2-stage cam here. One starts the cue, and the second time it cuts it. So start and cut. I don't know which one's which, but pretty dirty in there. Pretty small bearing. Compared to the Pioneer, I'll be releasing a Pioneer PL516 video this week. Well, the week you will have already seen it by the time this video comes out. The bearing on the Pioneer and the spindle are like twice the size of this one. This is just your standard kind of bearing. Relatively small. So what? Half an inch maybe? Okay. So that's good and clean. This bearing will probably not take that much oil since it's so thin. I'm using Masters lubricating oiler. So it's a premium quality all-purpose lubricating oil for use on bearings, moving parts, pumps, motors, fans, compressors, etc. Put a couple drops in there, so and that's enough. Just a little bit on the axle here. That's probably way too much, but this one will have a hole for pressure relief as we push this down. And there we go. Very nice. And now we can put that screw back in. If you hear a noise in the background, that's my dog snoring. There. Beautiful. Just want to show you something real quick here. When I talk about quality and so forth. Okay, so this is the only serious plastic piece in the whole unit. And that's the tone arm movement that causes the trip for the auto return. But check out, this is the tone arm here. Check out the quality of this. All metal build here. And see how this is how the tone arm is fastened. The tone arm comes through this tube and it's fastened to this piece here, which actuates the micro switch. And you've seen in the past, I've repaired these because this is plastic and then the screws are metal and they end up cracking this. And that's why the tone arm won't turn on anymore, because it doesn't move this plate. Look at this, all metal. This will never break. That was quality. You don't see that anymore. Okay, I think what I'll do now is I'll get this all put back into the case. And when I pick it up with you again, we'll continue up top. All right, welcome back up top. Our spindle feels fantastic. Now remember, I told you we were going to put a little bit of oil in the top bearing. It's a little hard to reach, but not too bad. It's almost got, it says oil here, obviously you can see that. It's got like a ramp that makes sure that the oil gets the right spot. So you just got to kind of eyeball it and a couple drops in there like that. Of course, you're going to make a mess, but it'll get to the right spot. And oh boy, that went down fast. Let's give it another drop. There. Good. So that lubricates the top bearing. And then we'll just wipe that up. All right, shall we select a belt? Well, let's check the 305 first while we're here. Now, these turntables do not have speed selector. They're driven off of line frequency. I think the 305 is going to be perfect. Oh yeah, 305 is perfect. I can tell that already. Look at that. Holds on nicely. Very nice and loose to stretch over. We'll just pop that on. I do want to just clean that pulley one more time. I'll show you how I did that with the Q-tip here. So we just moved the arm over to get the motor engaged. Soak that Q-tip in a little bit of alcohol, and then just give the pulley a nice wipe. Just make sure there's nothing on here anymore. It's pretty clean, I can tell, but still, I'm getting a little bit here. The last thing you want to do is get any of that belt death on the new belt. That would be a disaster. Just going to clean off the, ooh, look at that, eh? That's the speed selector arm here. That has some on it. I'm glad I did that. I'm going to clean that again too. Yeah, so the surface of this turntable is almost, taking care of all that belt residue. That's the big one on this one. Yeah, we're good now, I think. Still want to get rid of it. And the more I say that, the more crap I find. Look at this. Yeah, I'm gonna pause again. I sorry for that. I have to get all this belt crap off of here. Otherwise, all this work is going to be in vain. So just hang on a sec. Okay, I'm certain that this is clean now. All right. Okay. So I'll just check the cut here for a second. Yeah, it is activating. It's auto returning. I just want to see speed now. Queuing is up. Speed is actually very good for a change. Okay, cartridge. So we're going to be taking off this realistic here, and I can see that the diamond's broken right off of this thing, so it would just skate right across the record. And what I usually recommend to people is you can buy a stylus, but it's probably going to cost you more than getting an AT3600. Now, that's not saying that the AT3600 is the greatest cartridge in the world or whatever, but what it is saying is that it is an amazing value for the money. There is a thread on Audio Karma under the Turntable forum, and I believe it's called the $11 cartridge or something like that, AT3600. Look it up. You can read all about it. It's not $11 anymore when that thread was started. That was a few years back. And sometimes you could get them for less than $11. I remember paying $7 or $8 for them back in the day. So here's our Shure without the Shure branding. Okay, so I just got this shipment in. I order them 5 at a time, so you get a little bit of a break. And I'm going to show you one thing here. So these are, Audio-Technica makes these in China. That's why they can make them so cheaply. But don't let their price fool you. These are excellent cartridges. They've been in production since the 70s. So here's one with, I'll show you the difference here. Here's one with an actual Audio-Technica stylus, and one that's unbranded. They're identical in every way. It's just that this one is completely unbranded and this one has the Audio-Technica logo on it. Okay, so we're going to install the unbranded one. And unfortunately, this is screw and nut installation. You really cannot expect, you know, threaded inserts on a cartridge at this price level. So you're going to be fumbling. Now, some people prefer nut down or screw down or whatever. That's one way of doing it. Trust me when I tell you it's much nicer to go nut up, screw up and then put the nut on it. It's for me it's easier, but if you're going to be doing it, like if you don't care about aesthetics too much, I would do it that way. But it can look funny when it's like that. So we're going to go like this. We're going to put it through like that. And this is just a time-consuming pain in the butt. These aren't even round nuts. These are the hexagonal ones. So you can't even spin them onto the screw because they pretty much rest against the body of the cartridge. So you kind of got to get it in position with your thumb. And then this is a freaking Phillips too. Lovely. Oh God, do I have a Phillips handy here? Nope. Yeah, so much fun. Threaded inserts are the greatest thing in cartridge technology, shall we say. But I'm sure that costs money. And getting the second one on is even more difficult. You're just fumbling around like I'm doing now. And plus I can't even get my head close to the thing because I want you guys to see it. I'm probably going to have to pause here to get this last screw in just because I need to put my high power glasses on and I need to get this right up to my face. Unless I've got it there. Come on. Hey, look at that. Okay, there we go. So cartridge is mounted. And the overhang distance between stylus and gasket is 47 millimeters here. So I'll continue on with this. I don't want to bore you to tears. I'm going to hook up the wires. I'll get it aligned and then we'll set it up on the turntable and give this thing a sound test. And you can hear how these AT3600s sound. Okay, I want to show you, I know this is really tough to see because the lighting's not great. That'll help a little bit. I'm just aligning this cartridge up and I'm not getting a great alignment at 47. Let me pump that back there. You can see how it's ever so slight. Look at the left side of the cartridge compared to the right side. You can see it's ever so tilted. So I'm going to adjust the cartridge back and forth until I get a really good alignment with that grid there. Now this is called the LP Gear Quick Alignment Protractor, and I found it's fantastic. What it does is it tries to minimize distortion in the latter part of the record, because that's where you're going to get it the most. And I found that on turntables where I really don't have a good alignment instructions, shall we say, that this one has worked really well for me. So anyway, we're just going to have a peek again there. You can see how it's just ever so slightly bent. So I'm going to keep playing with this. I'm going to move it forward and backwards to get a good alignment, and I'll show you how that turns out. Okay, so the cartridge had to come quite a bit forward to get a perfect alignment here. As you can see, stylus is right on the dot, and we are nice and square in there. Can't ask for better, so I'm going to call this one aligned. Okay, let's continue our setup here, and we'll set up the arm weight. Again, no anti-skating on this one, but we'll still do a sound test. Okay, we're going to set up our tone arm weight. Just going to level out, get balance here. Not too much. Oh, I think we got it right there. Yes, so the tone arm is perfectly parallel to the platter. So return the arm to the rest. And just hold your counterweight while you set it to 0. And we're going to bring this forward for a couple grams of weight. And then we're going to check this. Just let me unplug the turntable. I recently did a Pioneer where the weight was completely off. It wasn't even close, and that's because it wasn't moving properly on the shaft. And this one's pretty close, 2.1. Now you can track this cartridge up to 2.5 grams is what I would recommend. And maybe we actually will do 2.5 on this one just because it tracks a little bit heavier. Yeah, this is pretty close. Good enough. Okay, I'm already hooked up to the amplifier. You probably heard a little thud. I'll show you how this operates. It's a little bit different. Reminds me of a Yamaha system where you move the tone arm over, platter starts spinning, but the tone arm won't drop. It's in a up position until you hit play. And then it'll drop the tone arm. Sounds good. As the gambler's heart goes wild to wild, top truckers coming from the long shot. Now remember, there's no anti-skating here. So the tone arm will have a natural tendency to be pulled into the center of the record. And that's what the anti-skating does. It counter effects that. Instead of pulling it in, it pulls back and it maintains the no skate condition. Now, I remember an old guy when I bought my first turntable, he said never to use the anti-skate. I don't know. I've always used it. It's up to you if you want to use it or not. That's why I've put on a little bit more tracking force here to keep the groove, the stylus in the groove a little bit heavier. And this cartridge will track anywhere from 2 to 4.5 grams. So at 2.5, no problem. Okay, let's check our auto return. Hopefully this one doesn't trip on me. Perfect. It's got a little bit of a lazy return here. I'm gonna have to check that. There might be a little piece of foam that just pushes it to the end. No big deal. That's simple to repair. Okay, that's it. That's the realistic R-8010, a basement find. A lot of disgusting belt goo on this one. We did full service, motor, spindle, clean up all the belt goo, install a new belt, install a new cartridge, align the cartridge, set up, everything done in this one, and now it's ready to rock and roll for another 150 years. I like this a lot. I really like the quality of these decks. Oh, I forgot about that. That's the only thing I don't like is that silly feature where you gotta do that. 3600 cartridge. I'm going to go out and say that's the best buy on the market as far as a budget cartridge is concerned. You really cannot beat that thing for the price. Anything under 20 bucks for that is a steal. Yeah, it's got a conical stylus, but it's a 0.6 conical, so it's not like super fat. It does a great job. This sounds great. You have to hear it in person. Nice bass. It's got really good bass response is what I really like about it. Yeah, the conical stylus is not going to be as detailed and as crystal clear as an elliptical or up from there. But man, what a bargain for the price. So highly recommend those. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this one. Stay tuned. I have got some interesting turntables to be coming in. I'm not going to blow the surprise, but more basement finds from the record store I'm working in. And we're going to be hitting those soon. All right, so there you go. Realistic R-8010 semi-automatic belt drive basement find itself. Back up and running. We'll catch you next one. Bye-bye. Oh, we got a video addendum here. Okay, so this no anti-skate thing was bugging me. So I've done something that I don't do very often because it's kind of difficult to dial it in, but I think I've got it dialed in pretty good here. It's not pretty, but as you can see here, we've got just a standard everyday hardware store nut and a piece of thread. A little slip knot around there, and then a standard knot around the nut. Now, what we're doing here, now this, again, this is not ideal. It's not the perfect way to do this, but it will allow you to at least get some anti-skating down here. So I'm just going to show you. This is a very light setting. As you go further back on the arm, the anti-skating is lighter. So we'll put it on the first notch, and I'll show you what happens. You can see the record, or the tone arm wants to go inwards towards the center spindle. So we'll just move this down a couple, just for trial and error here. You can see it's moving less now, and it actually stopped. So we're getting there. Let's try one more notch. Okay, one more notch. Yeah, it seems to want to stop right about there. Sorry, I should have mentioned that the record I'm using is the B-side of a 45 that has no grooves on it. It's just plastic. So it's just skating across this record. I think I'm going to go with that. I don't want too much because, like I mentioned, I'll just show you if you apply way too much. And plus, I don't have enough string on the back of that nut there. Yeah, it always seems to want to move it a little bit. And don't forget, we're near the center of the record as well. It'd be better if I had a fully blank record here. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up probably, I don't know, about 4 notches in. And we'll leave it at that. So we'll put it right there. Oops. There. Come on. Put it right there. And that way you've got enough string to go through the whole record as it auto returns. You can see the nut go up and down. And if the owner doesn't want to keep it there, that's up to him. It costs nothing to do that, and it provides a little bit of anti-skating. All right, now this is the end of the video. See you later.